Hey guys, so this is Alan from the GMC community staff team. I just wanted to update a new video because I've been getting a lot of DMs and a lot of messages asking for a complete guide on how to use the latest version, and I kind of wanted to wait until this version because it is actually going to be probably very close to the final version that we will release past the beta stage, which is currently what we've been testing. So this version is the RC30 version. I'm going to record this in one take, so you're going to have to bear with me. I may lose my train of thought from time to time, so I'm not going to be editing this or cutting bits out. So what we'll do is we'll go from the home page, which is the first thing you'll see when you load the app. There you may get a security alert because we're currently applying the Windows certificate to the file. It can take time apparently, so just accept the terms and start the app. At the top there'll be the version, there'll be a link to the GMC website, a link to the GMC community Discord, and a link to support the GMC community. And there's also a tag there for the credits, which they're the people who helped me test the app in the earlier stages in the alpha and the beta. So if you go into this section, there's a Steam connection. When I originally designed this app, it was set to the automatic, but there were some people that asked for proxy settings because they had to key in their own settings. So if you do have issues, you can go to use a manual proxy, and that will give you various protocols and details that you can key in. But for most people, just ignore that. The second one here would be the workshop page links. So when we get into the app, then you'll be able to see what I mean, but there are three options. You can open them in the Steam app, or you can open them in the web browser, or you can ask each time you click or one of the Steam links there for one of the mods. Now this will go in, I'll go into more detail when we get into the next page. Okay, Euro Truck Simulator 2 has been detected, and has the other one, American Truck Simulator. However, there may be some instances where you have your installs on different hard drives or in strange locations that the game or the app may not find. So you can manually select them by the game locations. I mean, the only other option for me was to have the app scan like all your hard drives and the SSDs, but that would have been not very popular. Down the left there's a getting started guide, which there's a 2-minute quick start, which will give you the basic details of how to use the app. However, for some people who maybe aren't so knowledgeable and experienced, there is a full guide which has been worked on for a long time. It gives you I think it gives you nearly everything that you can do, from starting up, information, choosing a game, they're managing your profiles, understanding the mod manager, moving mods, compatibility, and I can go into all this later whenever I get into the app a bit more. You can save the changes, there's the backups, there's the performance, keyboard shortcuts, frequently asked questions. So there's also important information. You do have to close the game before you do this bit, so both games have to be shut because you cannot do profile editing on when the game's open. And there's also other information here, so click close. So I'm going to go into Euro Truck Simulator 2, so click the manage the profiles. It will start to do a scan for Steam mods, and and this will be your basic interface. On the left you have a pop down for the Euro Truck Simulator, which was the one that we picked, and all of your profiles are linked in there. A couple of people have asked there what the SCSC means and the SIIN. Their profiles are which are still encrypted by SCS. Once the Mod Manager works on these there, they turn into the SIIN. That's hard to say. So I'm just going to load a profile. Along the top you can launch either game there within the app, and now that was asked for as well, so I'm not going to do that obviously at the minute. So the next tab, mod details. So if I highlight a mod, it'll come up on the left. You can turn that off if you want a little more like horizontal room. It goes red and an X, so that has gone. You can turn it back on and there's a tick. Shortcuts show you the key commands if you prefer not doing the drag and drop and other things like that. That's all quite easy to understand. You've got the undo and the redo. You've got the reload and export. Now there's two ways that you can export your active load order. You can do it as a basic text file, or you can do it as a CSV, which gives a lot more info. The text file will contain the mod name and the version. You can make the mods inactive, and you can wipe the entire load order here. It will always give you warnings, and there's also 10 backups for everything that you do. And once you get to the 10th, it'll go back to the first. So the reason for that was that people who do this a lot could end up with hundreds or thousands of backups, which is not a good idea. So if I do clear the load order, it will wipe it. However, you can do undo or go back to the reload. So we'll reload the profile. I'm going to go through every setting because sort of people have asked there that I didn't cover everything. There's also been a lot of new features since the last RC30 version, which was released last week. So you can also search for mods. So in your active order. So there's all the beyond fixes and road connections and files. You can do clear. Now I've just added this. I'm not sure it's 100%, but whenever you're dragging your mods, that drag low will slow down the interface a bit, so it's a little easier for some people. You've obviously got the normal, which is a little bit faster. And you've got the fast, which is even faster again. So that's kind of what that does. You're wondering. Now when I'm thinking back to when I released the first version, there were no mod icons because I wanted it to be vertically very tight. So that was how the original version was shipped or released. However, there's now different options. Small, and that doesn't alter any of the height, so you can still get as much info in. You can go to large, a little bit bigger. I've also improved the resolution of those, and you can go to extra large. Now the extra large there may suit people on TVs, or if people really want to look at the artwork. So there's different options there. The source, it will either have the file word and a little arrow pointing down. If I click that, it will locate the file in the folder and highlight it, so you can delete it or remove it or whatever you want to do. Now there is no delete option in this app. A lot of people have asked for it, but I am not wanting to build in a delete option because it could be a bit of a problem if people accidentally delete files. they could come on and blame me for, you know, losing their mods. So at least with that option, it lets you locate the file. It's handy for duplicates or for old files that you want to get rid of. And it's exactly the same for Steam, however, it takes you to the browser and locates so you can unsubscribe. That's that. There's a little bit more, but we'll come back to this again. Now, the grey side is your mods that are installed, but not necessarily in the active. So if you look down, they're active. There's like a badge, if you can see there. So they're active in the active load order. All the rest aren't. Again, you've got the file in the Steam again, which there's no point going back over that. You've got a search option, so you can search again for files. You can clear that. You've got all the categories like you do in the SCS built-in mod manager within the game. However, I have said this before, but some of the mod makers don't correctly put them in the right category, so you can find certain things in the wrong place. Like there's sounds, and you've got a realistic rain. Okay, there may be sound in that, but still. And then you've also got category unknown, which is just people being lazy and not sort of putting them in the right area. You can go back to all status. It's all compatible, so that will remove all of the mods there that are marked with a different identifier to your game profile. You can do compatibility unknown, and that can often mean that they are compatible, but the mod maker has not put in the identifier for versions. Again, this is not something that I can verify, because sometimes a mod can work in a new version, or sometimes it will not work. So again, this is all tied into the game. There's also a possible local and Steam match. Now, as you can see, one of these is Steam and one of these is fine. So that's actually telling you that you've got the same mod installed within the Steam account and your mod folder. It's just saying there's a possible same file. Now, one's active, and that would be the local mod, and one is not, and that's Steam. So I thought that was a handy little feature. You can do all. Then you've got the all sources, all local, so they're all in your mod folder, or Steam, which is through your Steam account. So you can do all. Oh yes, there's also a resolve Steam Workshop names. That can help if there's a file not being properly identified. If you do have a Steam Workshop file that doesn't come up, please let me know through the Discord and let me know so I can look into that. File names are currently off. Now what this is, if I turn this on, every mod locally, it will show the file name in the bright orange there. So you know within your mod folder, like on your SSD, it will be the name followed by either a zip tag or the SCS tag. So you can either have that on all the time or have it off. Depending on how large your icons are, that will take up extra vertical room. So you can either go for a very compact look like that, or you can go for the extra large and the file names. So there's a lot of different options there for the UI. Go back to large and leave on the file names. So the next thing I can show you would be the search options now. A lot of people have asked for this option, so you can search by the author now. Sometimes the authors have different tags on their names. So for instance, this guy, don't know how to say his name, so not going to do it, but he has got files in different categories. So instead of just being able to look for one, I can tag them all and then apply the filter. and that will then show all of the mods there from that author under 3 different sort of categories there. Again, there's a lot of options. You can sort of toggle things off and on. I'll just go back to the all. There's also sort by name, A to Z, Z to A. They're all, surely people can work that out without me sort of telling them. You can do the modified by newest, the modified by oldest. We'll just do the display name. You can find the duplicates, so it will give you duplicate file names. Now, without that on there, which I was telling you about, if that's off, it's going to be hard to know what's going on. So if you turn that on, we can see by the file name that I have got some duplicates in that folder. Now that can happen when you download a mod from one of the websites and you think it's not started, but it has, and you end up with multiple versions of the same file under file name bracket 1 or 2 close brackets. So you can see this has been a duplicate. There's actually the first version, but there's a complete duplicate because they are the same version number, and that says R1 and that one doesn't, and that's exactly the same. That one would be the same there, Far East, the same. So you can actually remove the duplicates, and how you do that, again, as I mentioned earlier, I don't offer any delete. I'm not sure how I could do it without being held sort of responsible, which is why there's no option. However, I can see that that one has A1. If I go file, it will highlight the duplicated there, so you can see the original ones there and the duplicate. So, and the good thing about this system is that it will find the file within the folder and actually highlight it, so you don't need to go rolling through your mod folder. So again, it has found that number 1. So you can manually delete everything that you find as duplicates. It does take a little bit of time, and I don't know whether I could add a feature maybe later, move file to waste bin or something, or trash, and then let the user do the empty part, so then I'm not held responsible. That could be added in the final version, which will be the next version, will be the final first version. Right now I'm just ironing out the bugs. I think I've got nearly every feature that I could think of in this. So that's how that works. Show all the mods again, so that will remove there the filters that were on that for the duplicates. So next stage, or the next thing, is how you can move files down and up. Now, in the standard SCS Mod Manager, you have to use the buttons for up, down, up, down, up, down, or you can move to the bottom, or you can move to the top. That is a bit of a pain. So, I'm not sure whether you noticed there are currently 379 mods active in this load order. Next to that, there's add to the top and add to the bottom. Now, for people that like to double click their mods, you can just double click and that will add at the top. It's added to the top, or you can do undo, and then you can add to the bottom. So if we go down to the bottom and do the same double click, it will add to the bottom. So that's actually handy for some people who would build their load orders from the top or from the bottom. So you can just add them whichever way that you like. So the drag and drop thing is, with your left button, you just highlight a file, and there's like a blue highlight here, like a bar. You can just drag it down, or you can hold the shift key and highlight 1, 2, 3, 4, or how many that you want. You can also hold the control key and bypass certain mods, and then you can drag them all and move them to a location. And you will get little arrows that say they're moved down 4 places, or moved down 3, moved down 2. Now, nothing is ever stored to your profile until you do apply the load order. So it will say they're unsaved until they're stored, and they're also highlighted in this like burnt orange, so they're hard to miss. I don't want to store this because this is actually my active one, so I'll do undo. There is also a new feature, so say I was trying to find that mod that is active here, it does say active. If I hold the Alt key, it will find that they're within your current active load order at number 70. So you can also do that in reverse. So you can highlight that. I don't know why you would want to do that particularly, but it's like more handy for this. So if you were wondering where this mod is here in your active order, you can hold the Alt key and it will highlight at 361 in that load order. While I'm here, I've just noticed it didn't mention the incompatible badge. That just shows that that mod has been locked out for version 1.59 and 1.6 is installed, so that has been tagged as not compatible by the author, obviously. So the other feature is it took a little while for me to read some of the mods entirely because there are certain protections on some of the mods, and it took a wee while to work it out. But if you highlight a mod, there's actually one active there, severe map. So you can see the author of the version, the category that he has stored it in, the compatibility requires that version of the game, the file name on your drive. It's a local mod file. It tells you that is not in any of your active, or sorry, not your active, just any of the profiles. Some of them there will be. So if I highlight an active one, it now says it's applied in 7 in total, including this one. It tells you which the profiles that mod's in, and it gives you the anniversary edition name, support version, and all the copyright stuff as well. So it reads the complete mod file. Again, that took a little bit of work because there are different ways of how the authors store their files. Say you do something different in Windows and you copy a file into your mod folder, or you remove them, you need to manually hit the refresh for this to update. Now you can leave this app open all the time, however it doesn't actively refresh every 1 second or all the time, because that would be a CPU hog. It wouldn't really work very well. So if you make any changes or in Windows to the mods or the Steam, you have to do the refresh, and that will go and look for everything again. That's how that works. It depends on your internet connection, how fast it is. Also, whether you've got a fast SSD or a very old hard drive, they can be quite slow. So there's another feature. It's telling me that I've got 1024 mods available. 379 of them are currently active in this profile. You can hide the active mods or from the library list or the available mod list by clicking that button, and that means that anything that's active here on the right will not show on the left. It goes like a bright orange just to let you know it's on. So if you're wondering where these have gone, it's just because they're not showing now. So you can see all of the active ones are come back, or you can hide them again. So that's how that works. Now there's also a new feature which took me quite a long time, because it is quite a complicated bit of code. Copy the load order. This app will not let you start a brand new profile. Okay, it has to be made in the game, because there's a lot of things that goes on in the game that have to be registered and identified. So there's no way for the app to do that reliably. So in the manage the profile load orders, you can copy a complete load order to a different one. So the currently active one is showing here 379 mods. I can copy it to, let's have a test. I can copy it to Mod Manager test, which has currently got 7 active mods, right? So it tells you there 379 mods to the destination, which has only got 7. The next thing that this can do, which was only added there fairly recently, transfer the individual mods. So if I load a current profile, so we'll go back to that one, and that's going to load now. That's it all loaded. If I do copy the load order, transfer individual mods, it will open the active one here in green. So that's actually the one that you've been working on here. And over here you can copy mods to a new profile or one that's already your Africa test. And if I start dragging in certain files, it gives a badge there saying that they're in both. So you can't actually drag them back over. It'll not let you, kind of make there multiple copies of it. Okay, so currently open this profile to that profile. You can also drag the other way, from this one to that one. However, obviously this has got nothing in it, so if I do apply the other or apply all, if I do apply the other, I write the stage 5, because there's only 5 mods, a safety backup to apply. So that will now, the Africa test should have 5 in that. There we go. So it did work. You can also, if I can find a profile that has, let's see what's in this one, 1.59. Now they're showing in both. I can copy the top 2 to that one because they're not in both, or not in that one. So if I drag that over, now it does confirm they're in both. Now if I can find a file from this one, it's actually highlighting that they're in both. So I can apply all, which would mean that both of the profiles are going to be written to rather than the one on the left. So if I do apply all, or you can do apply current, apply other. If I do apply all and I load the Africa test again, close, I need to reopen it because it's actually written to it. There are now 6 files in that. So that did work. So that's a good feature for if you've got a profile that you wanted to move some files out of into the one that you're working on. I mean, there's a whole lot of different things that you can do with that feature. I couldn't go over them all, but you can move various mods between multiple profiles, store them, then load the game. Now, to confirm, if I load ETS and go for the Africa test, I'll confirm that those 6, just so that you can see it's actually working, because I've never loaded the game in these, or while I've been doing these videos in the past. This can take a little time, obviously, while it loads the game. However, if I find the profile for the Africa test, you can see that what we have updated is in there. Have I gone too far? There we go. Select the career, mods 6 active, and you can see hopefully that all the updates that we made on that are currently active. So there we go, that worked okay. So basically that is the core of the app. Hopefully you understand a little more how to use it, because I have had some people not really understand exactly what all the buttons do. I thought the last sort of videos were quite clear, but hopefully that it goes over everything. And down the bottom there's a wee status bar, by the way, that can give you some extra info while you're doing things. It's easy to miss that, but it is actually there. Now the app is actually, I think it's actually fairly stable now. I've had no issues of anything corrupting. I don't think I've had In fact, I know that I haven't had one single report of a file being corrupted. Apart from people maybe not understanding all of the features. There's actually one more thing that I forgot, which is a big deal, and I can't believe that I've forgotten it. However, if you multiple select or just even select R1 and you right click on the button, you can temporarily disable mods to preserve their positions. So a couple of people have asked there for this, and I didn't even think of it. Took a bit of work. However, you can temporarily turn them off, right? If I do apply the load order in the Eurafrica test, apply, confirm and apply, they will stay in this app, and they will stay within the app next time that you load it. So if I reload that and manage the profiles again, find the Eurafrica test, they will stay in the load order list, but they'll not be active there when you load the game. And what this allows you to do is, say you have a game that's not stable, or you're having some issue and you're fairly sure it's like 3 or 4 different mods that could be doing it, you can temporarily disable them until you find the mod that is giving you the problem. Now, I just want to show you how this actually works, because some people there might doubt it. So you previously saw me load this and there was 6 mods in it. If I load it again, even though they're in the list and they're temporarily disabled there within the mod manager, they will not be showing within the game. Now, if I go back to the profile, Eurafrica test, there we go. Select career, mods. Those 3 mods that we removed will not be in the game. So even though the app shows that they're there, and you can still actually work around them until you resolve the problem, or if you're testing multiple versions of the same mod, it just means that you don't lose the position, you know. So if you had a big combo of like 300 files and you weren't sure if a couple of maps were giving a problem, you can temporarily disable them and find out exactly what the problem is. So to re-enable them, you just do re-enable the 3 mods, apply the load order, and they'll be back in the game whenever you go that far. So I hope that's a better overview. So if you like the app, you can send a donation to Marion and Jerry. I wanted this to be completely free. It'll never be billed for. I made it for myself, and other people seem to like it. So it'll never be €1, €10 or whatever. It's just always going to be free. And then the final version should be out fairly soon. Not really sure what else I can add. If you've any ideas or if you've any feedback there, join the GMC community Discord. There's a ticketing system for problems. You can talk with me or a couple of other members of the team. You can give in feedback in a dedicated feedback section. You can also get all the updates, and there's also a general chat where you can talk with other people. Again, I hope this hasn't been too boring. Hopefully you've got some good info out of it, and I hope that you find it to be kind of useful for you. Okay guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.